Hey, what's up everybody? This is Like It's 1985, and today we are going to take a look at Transformers 4, Age of Extinction, Voyager class, Dinobot Grimlock. Now, before I start the review, I do have to say that I got this figure for roughly $10 off. The normal retail price is $24, and I got it for around $14. So the reason being is I ordered this figure along with some other figures on Cybertron Monday from ToysRUs.com. And so they took $10 off of the Voyager figure. So, I just want to give you that full disclosure before I start this review. Alright, so here he is in robot mode, and he actually looks pretty good. Overall, I do like it a lot. The one thing I don't care for are the pointy toes, but that really is necessary for the transformation into Dino mode, because these actually will form the tail of Grimlock in Dino mode, or in Tyrannosaurus Rex mode. So, I would say it's the better of the two modes. I think most people think that this is the better of the two modes, I think. Let me go ahead and do a size comparison here with the Optimus Prime figure from the same line, Voyager class figure. So they are about the same height there. So for the one and only weapon accessory, you do get this mace, I guess it is. The instructions in the box don't say what exactly the weapon is called. It looks like a mace to me, or a overlarge meat tenderizer. But you got this weapon here, and it does peg into the peg hole in his hand. Now the hole in the hand is really tight, so it's a little bit difficult to get the mace in there, but you do get this type of effect with the mace in hand. So this weapon here does not come with this figure. This weapon is actually from the ConstructBot Dinobot Grimlock set. So a lot of people have said that they wish this Grimlock had a sword, and I decided, well, let me see how it looks with Grimlock. And it scales pretty well. You can see the size is pretty good for the Voyager Grimlock figure here. The color matches as well, so that's good. The only problem is the grip. There's not enough clearance. Well, actually what happened was there's actually a piece here that I removed that connects the grip with this guard here, and still there's not enough clearance to get that in there in his hand, so I'm going to do some more modifying. But I think it'll make a nice sword once I get done modifying this weapon for the Voyager figure here. So just an idea, if you want to give your figure a sword, this might be a possibility. Alright, so let's have a look at articulation for this figure in robot mode. The shoulder armor here does swivel. The head itself is on a ball joint, but then there's also a joint at the base of the neck, you can see down there, for that type of motion. The shoulders, they're not on ball joints, but you can just kind of see what type of joint it is if we take a look right there. I don't know what you call that joint, but you can see what it does, all the way around, out to the side. And then you have bicep swivel, a single bend at the elbow, and you have a swivel at the wrist, and that's really due to the transformation. Then you have no waist articulation, but you do have the leg articulation on this type of joint there. So forward, back, out to the side, as you can see. Then you have a swivel at the thigh, swivel at the knee, and that is all you really have for articulation. There's not really a whole lot you can do with the ankles, because all it does is swivel like that, and that's really for the transformation. So there is articulation for Voyager class Dinobot Grimlock. Alright, so let's have a close look at this figure in detail, starting with the top of the figure. I absolutely love this shoulder armor here. Fantastic. I mean, I can see how some people would say, oh, it's just kibble, it looks ridiculous, but, you know, for me, I like it. I like that design element in this figure. Taking a close look at the head sculpt there, you can see it's very nicely detailed, nicely sculpted, lots of nice silver paint, and on its own merit, it does look nice, I have to admit. Like the design here on the chest, with these silver bits here that are sculpted into the chest, Autobot symbol there. And overall, just on the upper arm here, on the side armor here, on the front armor, it's very evocative of a samurai look, which is cool. I like that. You can see on the arms, of course, you got a lot of this massive kibble on the side of the forearms. You know, I can definitely, it definitely looks bad, but I don't know, it's kind of I've kind of got used to it. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but it's, you know, I've kind of got used to it. It does tab into the forearm pretty nicely, so it's not, at least it's not flopping around as much as it would if it didn't have a tab there. So looking at the legs, nice sculpt here on the side of the legs, and on the inside of the leg a little bit there as well. On the back, it's not so beautiful. You got some massive amount of kibble here, but I've seen worse on the back of figures, so not too bad. You got a lot of screws showing there, and some hollow legs on the back. Okay, so transformation time. So let's go ahead and start with the back here. The actual shoulder armor assembly here is actually pegged into either side of the head, so we'll need to go ahead and unpeg that like that. And then you want to bring the two halves of the head together, but you first got to bring this piece between the two halves, and then this should tab into place, as you can see. Okay, so then you're going to tab those two halves together, and they'll come together like that. So, looking at the front again, on his hips, you have the armor here. You actually want to rotate that back, and then take this section here, untab it, and then working on the legs, you want to take the feet, rotate them like that, and then they peg together. And they don't peg together very well at all. I'm really disappointed about this. This frequently comes loose during the transformation, during playing with a figure in Dino mode. It just needs another peg, I think, to really secure these two halves together. But anyways, you can see that's going to form the tail there. And then, coming over here again, these are the side skirts for robot mode, but these actually hinge around like that, and then you can straighten out the dino arms. So now that you have the figure looking like this, there is again this point right here, and you need to clear that in order to get it past the ball joint, and you need to do that in order to have the head correctly oriented for dino mode. And you kind of just have to get it around like that. Next, what you're going to do is this piece right here. There actually are two slots on the underside here, corresponding to two tabs here, and they should go together like peanut butter and jelly. So this should come down and should tab into place. You can see it's not really tabbing into place. It's probably because I don't have it lined up correctly, but it's really hard to get this lined up correctly. But it's supposed to look something like that when you got all done, when all is said and done. And then you have this bit here that kind of covers the back of the head. Bring down the legs like that, and then you're going to rotate. So you're going to take this down like that and rotate the leg so you have the three black claws facing forward. Okay, so let's have a look at Grimlock here in his T-Rex mode, and we'll just do a little 360 look at him. Alright, so there are some problems, of course. You can see in the front area here, you can see the thighs of the robot mode. So there are parts showing. Just look at the underside of the Dino mode here. One of the things I noticed about the head sculpt, there was something about it that bothered me, and I finally figured it out. It's the ears. You typically don't think of a Tyrannosaurus Rex or a lot of dinosaurs as having ears. Sure, they had ears, but they were probably like internal. And if you look at like Google Images and you type in Tyrannosaurus Rex, you'll see you won't see any external ears. And the ears here are problematic because they kind of remind me more of dog ears. So it ends up looking like the head looks like a dog in some ways. So I think that's a problem. You know, as a comparison, let me bring in the Beast Wars Megatron figure. And you can see this guy does not have any external ears. This looks like a Tyrannosaurus head. This, not as much. And that's really where I kind of have a problem with it, is the ears. Some people have mentioned that the proportions are a little bit off on this figure. And when first watching the video reviews, I agreed, and I still think there's issues with, with proportions, but it's not as big a deal to me as the ears on the head. The ears on the head kind of bother me, but there you go. So as for articulation, one thing you do have is a gimmick. There is a gray button here, and you can see that Grimlock has chopping action. And you can see the head sculpt is nicely detailed, nice sharp teeth, that's really awesome. Nice silver paint apps here. And if you look at the eyes, they're kind of, in person you can see that they're metallic green. It may not show well on camera, but they're actually metallic green eyes. So that's cool. I do like this gimmick though, it's kind of fun actually. You can see the head sticking out there in the, just a little bit in the dyno mode here. You got ball jointed arms at the front. You've got the same articulation as you did with the robot mode, so that's the same. You can argue you have a little bit of articulation here at the tail because of this, but then that's really more due to the transformation, really. So there it is. Again, like I said, I picked this up mostly because I got it for $10 off the normal price of the Voyager. Plus, I wanted to have something to display the figure with in robot mode with the Evasion Optimus Prime. So that's the reason why I picked this figure up. As far as the weapon storage, you can do this. It's rather silly looking, but I'll show it anyways because it is a feature. So we can. There's actually on the tail. There's actually these tabs here where my fingers are, and they correspond to slots. And that's how you know how to put it in. So you kind of just got to push this on here. Oops, came off. Oh well. So this slides on there, and I'll put this back on here. This actually goes on only one way, and you can have the weapon stored like that, which looks silly, but there it is. That's a feature you can have for this figure. So this is how I would display Grimlock if I was to display him in his T-Rex mode, but I do prefer to have him displayed in robot mode. I think the robot mode is definitely superior to the Dino mode. So final thoughts on this figure. Actually, overall, I do like the figure a lot, particularly in robot mode. And I think a lot of people have initially said that, this really doesn't look like Generation 1 Grimlock. But then again, I would say, yes, but this is, after all, this is the movie verse, this is the Bayformer, design element. So, if you really want a G1 Grimlock, then, we already have a Masterpiece Grimlock. So, if you want to get your G1 Grimlock fix, there's that figure you can go pick up. But as it is, standing alone, just basing it on the figure itself, it doesn't look too bad. I kind of like it. I especially like the shoulder armor here design. That is really cool. And the overall design is actually pretty nice. I'm going to keep my figure here in robot mode. The Dino mode, as I said before, has some issues with proportions. With the ears, in my opinion, look very odd on the head of the dinosaur. And the tail, as far as engineering goes, the tail does not stay pegged together. Again, like I say, I wish they would have added another peg somewhere to keep that more firmly attached, or a bigger peg. But yeah, overall the figure is pretty good. As far as the leader class figure, I'm not going to get that yet. I'm going to wait till it goes on clearance at a discount store. I do like the chrome on that, and of course I do like the overall leader class size on that Grimlock figure, but I don't have any desire to pay $40 for it, so I don't think it's worth it. But if I see it on a discount, certainly. So overall, if you're okay with just having the figure in, or buying the figure just for the robot mode only, then I think it's worth picking up. But if you feel kind of cheated because of the lackluster Dino mode, then you may want to hold off on it, or maybe wait till it goes on discount a little bit. But for me, I picked it up to have it as a counterpart to my Voyager class Age of Extinction Evasion mode Optimus Prime. So for that reason, I picked it up, as well as the robot mode here. Alright, well thank you for watching. This has been my review of Transformers 4 Age of Extinction Voyager class Grimlock.